Look, this book is all you need. There's going to be no other book that's going to top this book in information. If you want to understand capitalism, this book is it. It seems like in the past couple of years, political debate has been a part of our everyday lives. This new political wave roughly started in 2016, and it seems like Christmases and Thanksgivings are no longer the same when family members are politically opposed to us. With new rising political stars such as Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and Bernie Sanders, and their online derivatives such as Nick Fuentes, John Doyle, Candace Owens, Vaush, or Destiny, it seems like they center all around one central debate topic, and that is capitalism versus socialism. Let me explain. The conservative right describes capitalism as that you could be a poor immigrant coming into the country with nothing more than the clothes on your back, and you can even become an entrepreneur. You can have kids, you can have a wife, and you can own a home with a white picket fence. The leftist socialist type tend to describe capitalism as this unjust hierarchy, where the worker is forced to provide their labor to a capitalist, and during the process, the value that their labor creates is alienated away from them, meaning that they're technically being exploited. The capitalist is stealing the value from them, and therefore capitalism must be destroyed. But what if I said both of these descriptions of capitalism is false? What if I said there is one source of information where you can learn what capitalism really is? Well, that's exactly the question that I wanted to answer. I've scrolled through hours of YouTube content about capitalism, and all I've seen is misrepresentation after misrepresentation of capitalism, even by those who claim they are capitalists. To these capitalists, it seems like everyone can be financially well off. You can pull yourself up by the bootstraps, or come from the dirt, or even fly to Mars. Okay, not funny? What I'm getting at is that hard work pays off. But why do I hold these conceptions of capitalism false? Interestingly enough, there is an author that noticed that these conceptions of capitalism are incompatible with what capitalism actually is. The author finds it kind of ironic that we can go through archaeological findings from a millennia ago and tell a whole entire story about the time, but we're unable to do the same with capitalism even though it's only existed for 200 years. The reason for this is that capitalism has never been identified by its true basis. The book is Capitalism, the Unknown Ideal by Ayn Rand. Hell with you if you don't think she's a good writer. She's a good writer to me. For those who are unaware of Ayn Rand, she is a Russian-American novelist and philosopher, and mostly known for her two greatest fiction novels, The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged. She has also developed a philosophy called objectivism, where it can be summed up as the following:
objective reality, reason, self-interest, capitalism.
Ooh, so what is so great about capitalism, the unknown ideal? She states that she rediscovers the principles of capitalism by identifying the philosophical principles that gave rise to capitalism at all. Today, capitalism is held as an economic system of privatized production, but she holds it as a social system based on the recognition of individual rights. Before you could ever have the private means of production, you need to produce the property that allows you to produce even more. In short, a business doesn't automatically exist, someone had to build it. But it's not just screaming at dirt, praying to the sun god, or wailing your arms around like a helpless child that produces things. It's using your mind. To produce anything, you have to think. Thinking is the fundamental requirement for human activities and self-preservation. Thinking is what makes us human. The fact that we plan our days, weigh and judge what foods to eat, or even organize a whole company to build airplanes. We all have to think, but not everyone thinks for themselves to produce what they need. Some people tend to steal from others or harm others physically. Rand shows a massive disgust to these type of people because they violate the fundamental thing that makes capitalism possible, a free mind. Violators steal the material consequences from those who choose to think and produce, or they force victims, which negates their free will and takes away the victim's ability to choose otherwise. Rand sees that this cannot happen under capitalism, and to prevent it is to recognize the right for each individual to be a sovereign being. The fact that force needs to be banned in human affairs to ensure the conditions for capitalism. But this is nowhere near what is presented today. The mainstream view of capitalism is a battle over whether or not it is efficient for everyone or not. Providing the best outcomes for the most amount of people is the premise the conservatives and socialists accept. Socialists think socialism is the best system that enables everyone to not have to fall into deep poverty. A social net is always present. Since capitalism places profit over people, it makes it impossible for everyone to live. The conservatives hold that capitalism is a system of freedom, that everyone can receive as much as they put in, that if you don't work, you have no right to force others to provide for your bad decisions. Therefore, capitalism provides the best who puts in the best. Now, for you, the viewer, whether you're already a fan, an objectivist, heard of Ayn Rand, dislike her, or have no idea who she is, I encourage all to read Capitalism, the Unknown Ideal, because it provides a point of view that is not mainstream at all. The principles that are presented in this book is what is missing from the conservative and libertarian argument. Rand shows that libertarians and conservatives accept the same exact principles that the socialists do, and therefore trying to argue for capitalism is just a big waste of time. Now, for those who do not read, you have my deepest sympathy. But if you still are interested, I recommend listening to Ayn Rand's lectures on YouTube that's posted by the Ayn Rand Institute. You can also watch videos from her intellectual hair, Leonard Peikoff, that drastically expanded objectivism. But with that being said, I have a little secret for you. Link is in the description. I'm sure you're going to like it. Buy more Ayn Rand.